go. What happens when the game ends, but the purpose is just the beginning? Today, we're going to keep it real with Jordan Golbert, a visionary builder and a founder of Sacred Sideline, who's redefining success for athletes, veterans, and high performers. We can't forget those people. He's showing us what happens when you stop leading from the hustle. Audience, you know I hate the hustle, and start creating from alignment. I am so excited to meet this person because we talked before and I had to have him on the show because he has lots of golden nuggets to share with you. So grab your pen and your paper and get ready to have none other than Jordan Gilbert. How are you? And welcome to the show finally.
Yes, thank you, Edna. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you, thank you. And thank you to all of
I'm so
Edna's
excited.
followers.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so excited to have you here because you do talk about the hustle, you talk about the alignment, and I like it all. So, how do you show up in the world today?
Today, that's a wonderful question. Recognizing that identity shifts are
Ooh,
consistent,
that's good.
and the only consistency is inconsistency. Yeah, like
Tell me.
just 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 trying to I'm wearing the father hat now.
Yeah,
I'm always going to wear my son hat. Like I'm always going to, my mother is the angel of my life, and my
right.
sisters and my beautiful bride now, like lots of the feminine energy just always present. um,
Yes.
but it really comes down to like that question every morning I wake up, like who am I? Like who am I?
Yeah.
What do I represent? And where is
Hmm.
the highest version of myself? And how can I wear that and express it? And if I could be 1% better than I was yesterday, like all right, we're
Hmm.
doing all right. We're doing okay.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. My new mantra is never compare yourself to someone else, not even to yourself. That's pretty cool. I
Mm,
was like, oh, I can't even compare yesterday. I can't compare myself. So it gives me a new perspective on things because, um, you know how we always second guess ourselves. Like, oh, I should have said that. I should have said this. Yeah, yeah, that could happen. So I don't even compare myself to anyone, but I don't even compare myself to myself. And inconsistency is great. It's so good, so good, good stuff. So I want to go right into about the hustle and the success and leadership. What's the biggest lie we've been sold about the hustle, success, and leadership
mm.
that you found?
That I've found in my 37
Mm,
years on this little blue orb floating in space.
yes.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't have to be the way that other people portray it. Like every individual has their own perception of what life is
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be. None of us know for sure, and that's the biggest thing that has irked me since I was knee high to a grasshopper, is being told
Mm-hmm.
how to do something
Yeah.
from somebody who doesn't have it figured out, and
Mm.
just having enough humility to recognize, like, yeah, I don't know for sure what I'm doing, but I'm trying to figure it out. And
Right.
if I could have just been told that at a younger age, from my peers and the individuals around me, like that, it doesn't say that you don't
No.
know anything. It just means I
Yeah.
don't know everything, and that's okay.
Right. Yeah.
But it doesn't have to
That
be the
is
whole.
right. That's good. Yeah, I like that. You don't know everything. Yeah, and that's okay. It's really okay. I love it. That's the only time we use okay when you don't know everything.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, you know. So, how did Sacred Sideline come to life?
Oh, goodness me. So in the past, I'd say the past decade, I've been on a spiritual healing journey, trying to rediscover who I am, what I represent, what are the things that have pieced together to make me. So I utilize Lincoln Logs as my basis for anybody that I work with. It's, I think many of us have worked with Lincoln Logs in the past. We've all built our little cabins, and each
Hmm.
Lincoln Log represents some position or some belief or some standard that we hang on to in our life, whether it's spirituality, religion, the basis that you focus on the economic times. And each one of those Lincoln Logs I've now held up, and I'm like, shoot, does this resonate with me or doesn't it? Is this
Right.
hanging on from an old coach, an old my things that my parents learned, and
Mhm.
does it still resonate with me or does it not? So in that, and then through my journey of being an athlete and wearing many different hats, I've recognized that in our society, there's not a lot of assistance given to individuals when they're transitioning from one phase of life to the next.
You're
And
right.
society's
Yeah.
busy and people are busy and everybody's got something going on. But
Mm-hmm.
I found in my shoes when I was an athlete transitioning out of athletics, and my last year of eligibility was taken away from me. So it was sudden and abrupt. And too much too
Right.
soon creates a trauma response. And I realized that like I was out in the real world going like Ricky Bobby, like I don't know what to do with my hands. Like I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like I know people say just go out and figure it out, but there's got to be a
Right.
better way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's with the past year and a half with the individuals I've met and the relationships I've developed, I've recognized like there can be like the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know what it's going to turn out to be like. But Sacred Sideline was born from that place of let's create a conducive ecosystem. Let's at least have the vision to create a conducive ecosystem to help individuals like myself
Mm-hmm.
transition from one phase of their life to the next.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's supposed to. When you're creative, you don't know what it's going to be. You're just going to be like, I'm a writer, so I just pour things on the page, and whatever it's going to be, the title's given to me last. It's like, okay, the title's, what is it going to be? I don't even know what it's going to be when it flows. But I think that's a great perception, a great attitude to take is you shouldn't know how it's supposed to be. And I think we love, we're humans. We love to control. Like we have to have control. We have to know where it's coming, how it's coming, all of that stuff. But when you're aligning, as we're going to talk about, when you're aligning, I think you have to fall back. So I'm in the stage, and I don't think I told you, Jordan, but I'm in the stage of, that game we used to play. You're younger than I, but we used to two people used to stand behind us, or you stand in a circle, you pick somebody you trust, and they go behind you, and you put your arms out and you fall backwards, and it tells you if they can trust you or not. So I'm at that stage, not with people, but with the universe to provide, to give, to allow. I'm at that, okay, just releasing and allowing and falling back. And it's a scary thing.
Yeah.
Have you found when you're working with your clients that when they're rediscovering themselves, that part of them letting go is important?
It's trust is given, not earned. And I believe that
Mm,
wholeheartedly. Like
yeah,
to be able to allow somebody into your life, like you have to be able to give something, right? It's an
right,
energetic transference. And
right.
yes, 100%, I would agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, that's good. So what do men and women, I'm sorry, how do men and women heal generational expectations, especially around when it comes to like sports? I know my mom never played sports, but she always expected me to do good. And I was in every sport, right? Or they expect you to get good grades, or you're expected to do great at this. And then when you
Mhm.
fail, that's a whole nother thing. But how do men and women have healed generational expectations, because while building legacies for their families, because you have that right now, you're in that space.
Yeah, it's something, and I try to stay as humble as I can with it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know I don't have all the answers. I know
right,
what has worked for me, and I know what has not worked for
right,
me. And
Mhm.
in stepping with what I've witnessed that has worked with that transitional
Right.
phase of because it is a transitional phase going through a
Right.
healing journey. Like you
Right.
are releasing control of the things that no longer serve you. They're taking a back
Yes.
seat, and
Mhm.
you're reformatting your life, and that is
Mhm.
terrifying. And that's
Oh
where the
yeah.
trust comes in with I
Right.
I hold an optimistic attitude. And I think there's a
Okay.
big distinction. And I think we talked about this a little bit in our previous conversation, the difference between a
Mhm.
positive outlook and an optimistic outlook. And
Yeah.
I'm optimistic that even though it's raining, the sun is going to shine. It may not shine
Yeah.
like when I want it to, but it's going to shine
Right. Right.
eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm not just going to
Absolutely.
put on a face like I'm happy all the time. And that used to be
Yeah.
me. I used to live a life of lie.
Right.
I used to live
Yeah.
a life to please others. So I would
Right.
always withhold. And that comes in to exactly what we're talking about here with
Mhm.
that rediscovery of, oh my gosh, you mean people can accept me even if I'm not having a good day? People will
Yeah.
accept me even if I
Yeah.
had some traumas to release. So to bring
Mhm.
it back around to the expectations and the trauma, the expectations especially with athletes, is I heard it in my call with my sacred sideline gentleman that I work with just last night.
Mhm.
Expectation, um, results, and what was the other key one? The other key one was um, it's not coming to mind, but it's neither here nor there. But it
Yeah.
comes down to let's take apart what you thought you knew about yourself, and then
Right.
let's align with what feels real and true.
Right. And I think that's the hardest piece, though. You know, because I'm there, and I think that's the hardest piece is what's true. You know, and like you said, we've lived lies, and I don't think they're hats. I really don't. I think we adapt to roles, but I think the mask is what really kills us. That positive attitude and all of that was really fake. And I just had a friend of mine. And I said to her, I said, why come you're so zen? And I did that, right? I did that. And she says, what do you mean by that? I said, you're not all zen. Don't keep pretending. It's okay if you're not, but you're not all zen because it takes a lot of work,
Mhm.
to be like that, to put that face on, but hey, it takes a lot of work and it's tiring. And she did that so long and she had so much on her plate that boom, it landed her in the hospital. And I can't tell you that, so much that I really take care of myself in so many various ways. Self-care is part of what we're talking about, right? It's part of what, when you blend all of those things together, the business, the spirituality, the services that you do, it's part of that, because you have to then go back to the alignment and realize, okay, this no longer serves me. This is getting in the way, and you have to start taking those things off. And that's where I am, is it's really taking off those things and seeing, hey, and getting lighter, because believe me, I'm so light. I would that I had wings, I could fly. But just getting rid of some of those things is so helpful.
Yes, and one thing that I do want to interject as a thought process, right? And my wife,
Hmm.
my beautiful bride, has taught me this: is
Yeah.
it's not so much of like a release and let go forever, because it was a
Hmm.
something that helped you get to where you are.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
like the ego game where people right now, it's a big talk of like the death of the ego and like trying to get, no, it's
Yeah.
not a battle. It's about
Yeah.
creating a partnership and saying, hey, ego,
Right.
you've been in the driver's seat and I appreciate you, but now you
Exactly.
can sit in the passenger
Right.
seat. We got
Right. 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 Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. Is you got to have both pieces, because at some point when that when you're talking to the ego, or when you're allowing the ego, sometimes you need that little oomph a little bit.
that. Mhm.
You do need
Yeah,
that. You need a
exactly.
little bit of that. You need a little bit of that. So you can't get rid of it altogether because it is part of you, just like the male and the female part is part of you. The masculine and the feminine is part of you. You can't separate them. They're in there,
Mm.
so they're there. So, you have to just make that realization.
Absolutely. Yes. And so much of it comes down to identity. I mean, that's the big part with yeah, with like what is it that I identify? What are the identities? Like what are the core identities? There's
Yes,
pillars in our life.
yes.
When things get really dark, those are the guiding lights where we can find our path again. And when my father was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and we talked about this
Hmm.
before as well, it's like there's identity shifts all the time. Like what is my guiding light? And that's what my goal is like I want to be a lighthouse.
Right. That's right. So you talk about your work has been fueled by deep belief that true success comes from knowing yourself, we just talked about, and healing what came before you. Can you talk about that part?
Yeah, absolutely. So being able to know yourself on a deeper level, because there's so much, especially now with this day of age, is social media. It's just
Mm,
expanded beyond anything that we could truly comprehend, in my belief. But when you get to know yourself, you have those questions. You can look yourself in the mirror and you can say, like,
hmm.
I love you. And
Right.
most of my life was lived with not being able to say that and not being able to do that. And
Gotcha.
when I recognize individuals who allow themselves to be vulnerable enough to do that, that's
Hmm.
when the true growth is like, okay, now the rain's coming, and now the seeds that were planted can come up. Um, so coming back to like the identity shifts and remind me again. I'm sorry, one more hit was coming through. Remind me one more time with your question because I was pulled off in a squirrel.
It's okay. I was talking about you, what fuels your what you do, and you talked about knowing yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing yourself, and then also what came before you. What do you mean by that?
Yes. And what became before?
Healing
What
what
came
came
before? Yes.
before you. Yes.
Yep. So traumas are passed down, and I'm no professional. I'm just an individual who's learning just like everybody else. But traumas are
Right.
passed down in multiple ways. And there's generational trauma, there's ancestral trauma, there's womb trauma.
Right.
Like it gets on
Hmm.
and on and on. And it can be trauma with the capital T, trauma with the lowercase t. So all those are stored in our soft tissue. And what I've
Hmm.
recognized is it's it's through, because of my wife with her embodiment practices and her somatics works, is that it's stored in our body. Like our body needs, this is our human experience, is being tapped
Right.
into
Right.
this vector. So
Yeah.
as we're feeling these things from what came before us, like the expectations that were put on our father, like for my example, my father had expectations put on him from his family. Those automatically are passed on to the next generation because there were things that my father didn't heal, didn't have the tools or the
Mhm. Right.
accessibility to those tools. So
Right.
with that, it's like, okay, I'm choosing to stop the things that no longer serve anybody after
Right.
this. So my daughter
Right.
and my stepdaughter, like they're not going to experience the things that I did because I'm choosing to not pass those things on.
Mm.
And when you
Right.
recognize, then you can choose to heal or not heal, because we're all given choice.
Mm.
And then
Right.
moving forward, it's about like, okay, when I think about uh, finances, right? It gives me
Mhm.
a turning in my gut, and that's an ancestral trauma that's passed on because money in
Mhm.
my family while growing up was
Yeah.
always hang on as much as you can, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
release it, and it is
Mm.
so goodness me so difficult. But being
It
able to
is.
recognize where am I feeling it in this body, okay, and how can we move
Mhm.
through it, not get around it, not just take something to make the pain go away miraculously,
Mhm.
but to move through it.
Yeah. Yeah. That is so true because I was I'm healing my money trauma, right? And I was doing something. And I don't know, I wasn't even talking about money. Somebody said something to me, and I think it was something that had to do because I'm the president of the chamber, and they said something to me, and I noticed my body was about a check or something, and I noticed my body. I was like, "What the heck is going?" And I was like, "Say that again," and I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have money trauma, and it's in my body." Every time that I would speak about money, my body would go into like the state of like tightness, just tight. And I was like, I never noticed it before, right? And I said, oh, I got to do something about this. And so, the guy that wrote The Body Keeps Score, he's one of my favorite guys, one of my favorite guys. That was one of the first books I read. And I was like, this is a lot of work. I didn't know this, it's a lot of work, but it is. And so I just started to, you know, um, I found a prayer about releasing, releasing my generational trauma, so around money, because my ancestors kind of like held on to that and it was passed to me. So I had that. And, I'm like, that's kind of crazy. And so I have released them. I said the prayer, released them, and I kept saying it and releasing it every day until I couldn't feel it. Then I had to say, I am safe, I'm supported, I'm free. All that I need is here for me. I had to keep saying that every day. And because the nervous system is so intricate, it you have to release and you have to release and you have to release and you have to receive. So I know what you're saying is it is so intergenerational and these things that come before you. I have young people that I work with, they're mad. And I was like, what are you mad for? They was like, I don't know. I got everything I need. I don't know why I'm mad. They're mad because it's intergenerational. So that's a great thing to bring out. I like that. So we are here at the mark of what does alignment look like in business? And how can we stop confusing burnout for productivity?
Mm. Wow. Yeah, that's a big one. I mean, switching burnout for productivity is it really what I recognized when I was at a car dealership and I was doing well. I sold lots of vehicles, I had lots of happy
Okay.
families and lots of repeat
Right.
customers, but there was just this initially it was okay, I'm hanging on to this mentality of I'm here to serve these individuals and provide them with the means of transportation and take care of them. Because if I don't take care of them, there's another car salesperson that's probably going to take advantage of
Right.
them. So I tried to
Hmm.
hang on to that and tried to be a good boy and do my due diligence. But then it started getting depleted and then it became hollow and it was just a transaction. And even if I took care of the family, it was like, oh, this just doesn't feel good. And my body was
Yeah.
sending me signals and telling me. So when I'd
Yeah.
show up to work, it was just like Peter Pan when he's trying to chase his shadow, like he's grabbing
Yes.
onto the pole and he's like, I almost got it, and then it slips away. That's what it was like
Yes.
with my body going into work was, oh my gosh, there's something that's higher than me, that's
Yes.
deeper than me, that's telling
Hmm.
me no. And I think it's not just about escaping. And that's what I learned the biggest. And my wife helped me tremendously with that recognition is most of my life I was a self-proclaimed Peter Pan. I would just feel that from my body and then I'd run away and go do something
Right.
else.
Right.
Yeah,
Me
always
too.
the
Me
same.
too. Mhm. Yep.
So there were so many lessons to be had in that and being able to sit and able to listen and then being able to, okay, how do I use this as a training, as a dojo? And then I
Hmm.
can take the things that are helping and productive and then filtering so then the things that I don't need can just be off to the side. And being
Right.
able to witness, okay, what does feel in alignment? What are the things that I do enjoy about car dealership? I enjoy interacting with
Mhm.
people. I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy being able to help take complex material and digest it down for the person and being able to regurgitate for them in a way that they can better understand the entirety of the
Right.
process. So being able to take those pieces and like, okay, so now I click those into position. And as I'm thinking about what do I want to do next with my life, then that I can use the universe, work with the universe to co-create that ideal job
Right.
next, or that ideal career, or whatever that looks like.
Right.
But it is about discovering what resonates and then
Right.
moving to the next phase, but not running away. And I highlight on that for myself. I'm constantly telling myself, like, I'm not running away. I promise you, we're not running away. We're running
Mhm.
towards, but we're just going to be able to move in a direction that feels good in its entirety. Like, we're
Right.
probably never going to find the perfect thing that's going to feel
Right.
perfect. But if it's in at
Right.
least 3% better, then we're doing something right.
Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. So Jordan, how can they, my audience, find you? Ask you questions about alignment. How can they find you?
Right now, I am horrible with all my stuff. I'm trying to figure that out. But on social
Just
media, on
call. Just
Instagram.
contact me. Don't contact him. Contact me, and I'll send it to him.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll do that. Yeah.
Well, I really love this, Jordan. Thank you for keeping it real on purpose with us today, because you gave us some knowledge and some understanding about alignment, and I like that conversation. So it reminded me that purpose and profit can move together, but only when you're aligned. That's it, right? So, audience,
Amen.
if this episode spoke to you, share with somebody that's chasing success but craving soul. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow Keeping It Real on Purpose, when we help you lead from the mind up and not from the mess. See you next time around.